My father kicked my mother and me out of the house to marry his mistress, and now, 15 years later, he's kicked out of his own house and demands that my mother and I let him live with us. Initially, we had to go from shelter to shelter until we finally managed to rent a small house. Life was tough during that time, but we managed to overcome it. When my mother got promoted and I got a job, we moved to a bigger house, and our quality of life improved significantly, and later, when she got promoted again, we started saving money, and now, 15 years after being kicked out of the house, we finally have our own home, in a very nice neighborhood that we never even dreamed of living in. Nowadays, I also work in a very good position, so our quality of life is great, and we never lack anything, and we travel constantly too. During all this time, we never had any contact with my father again. If you want a part 2, click on share and more. My father kicked my mother and me out of the house to marry his mistress, and now, 15 years later, he's kicked out of his own house and demands that my mother and I let him live with us. At first, he still sent messages, mainly to provoke us, saying that he didn't care about us, and so on, but when we blocked all his numbers, that stopped. However, recently, something happened that I never expected to happen. I was at home resting when I heard my mother screaming outside the house, and I ran to see what was happening. When I got there, I saw my father trying to talk to her and calm her down. Immediately, I started shouting along with her, saying that we would call the police, and so on, and again he tried to calm us down. I asked my mother to go inside and said that I would handle it, and that's when he told me everything. Apparently, his mistress divorced him and took everything. Not only the house, but also his car and practically everything valuable he had. I told him that it didn't matter to me, that we had nothing to do with it, and that we weren't a shelter or something, and that he should leave. He then said that he missed us a lot and always had, and that now that he was going through the same thing we went through, he knew how wrong it all was. I told him that if he was really sincere about what he was saying, besides never having kicked us out in the first place, he would have looked for us at some other time. But no, not only did he never try to find us or contact us, but he was only there now to ask for help because he was going through something he did to us. Again, I told him that he would either leave at that moment, or he would leave in handcuffs. He decided to leave, but still, he keeps showing up here from time to time. I honestly don't know what to do. I don't want him to be arrested, but I can't let this continue like this. If he shows up again, no matter what, I will call the police. He has been warned before, and since he decided not to listen, I will let the authorities deal with him.